some reason it's not accepting my password.
I didn't know you had a password. I mean,
876468.
I don't know.
Eight
me, I got up there.
76468.
I got in there and I had to sign in with Google,
That's what I had to do.
you know, and I signed in with Google
Just never did that.
Okay.
and I used my Google password. I mean,
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
We're on YouTube. Jeff, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you fine. Thank you.
Okay. I think we got everybody then. We'll go ahead and get started. Newcastle City Council, Brenda, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Newcastle City Council meeting Monday, January 4th, 2021. Comes to order. Roll call, please.
Mike Guffey,
Present.
Jeff Hancock,
Present.
Jerry Walden,
Present.
Aaron Dickin,
Here.
Mark Coger,
Here.
Lynn Purdue.
Oh,
Rex.
yes,
We don't have Lynn.
I forgot about Lynn. I know he's out of state, so he may just be having trouble getting on. I don't know.
yeah, somebody want to call him?
Can you call him? No, we'll call him real
I
quick.
mean, might as well, I mean, we got a couple minutes to get him on if he can. He might be indisposed.
Is somebody calling him?
Yeah,
Okay.
he should be able to get on by phone if he can't get on by his
Go
iPad.
for it, Daffy. Get out of the way, Daffy.
Get your animals under control there, Mr. President.
That's impossible. They're Bonnie trained.
That's the reason. Not Greg, to answer your question, I had 0 symptoms.
Time to try to do it by phone.
You don't look very good, Jerry.
I'm
sorry, man. I should.
Because I've been taking care of Kathy.
That's it.
Oh, look at that cat.
Do what?
What'd you end up Googling?
No, it said when I got onto the Zoom, it said you can sign in with Facebook or Google or whatever. So I just hit Google and then just use my email and my password for Google.
Okay.
You have that.
Yeah, I don't have that set up, then I'll set that up.
Well, if you want to call Greg.
It used to not do that. It used to be different.
That's what Rex had to do.
Okay, I'm putting you on hold for a second, Jeff, because somebody is calling. Hello?
So
Hey, Rex.
try
Yeah.
it again, and if you can't get in, call Grace phone. and we'll
Yeah.
answer your phone.
Hey, is there a meeting past?
Okay, all right.
Well, everybody's having trouble right now. It may be such, I mean, I barely got on. It may ask you to sign in with Google.
Okay, it's not done that yet. I've
Okay.
went through everything and it's just asking me for a meeting.
Well, if
It's
maybe I have to
876-468,
apologize and you
Rex.
can't be on there. I'm going to bring it up, but what did you say the password was, Jerry?
876-468.
Did you hear that? 876468. Did you get that? Did you happen to get that?
Raise your hand.
Hello? Did you get that? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Did you get that?
Can you hear me?
Oh, hey, Jeff, it's you. I guess the other person got it. Okay.
Jeremy just came up and I just accepted him.
Okay, good.
Hello?
Jeff, you hear me? Jeff Hancock, do you hear me? Do you hear?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me, Rex?
Yes, okay, good.
Okay.
All right, now Jeff is ready.
We're waiting on Lynn. He's trying one more time. If he can, he's gonna call my cell phone. Jeremy, I can see you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, we'll be with you in a minute here. Mike, for some reason, you're on twice. I don't know if I have you by phone and by,
Just bear with me.
no problem. Just got you twice. Bad enough to have to look at one picture, but have to sit here and look at two pictures of you.
I know.
I only get one picture of him. Two names.
Oh,
Now lost your picture. Can you?
yeah. I'm having trouble with my PC, and now I'm switched over to my phone, and I don't know. Got my picture? I'm blinking.
Yes, got you. Yeah.
I'm blinking now. I don't know what's going on.
Back in the 60s.
That's a good analogy there.
Why? What happened in the 60s?
I'm going to completely go.
Thanks,
I'm going-
Aaron.
I'm going
That's
to
when
completely get out
Steve
of this.
Dickens didn't even have a thought of you, Aaron.
I'm on
True.
speakerphone, okay? All right. Okay, Lynn, can you hear?
Yeah.
Okay. Lynn
Right here,
Purdue.
Lynn. Okay, she just called your name for roll call, Lynn.
Okay. Rex Beckenpaul.
Here.
I think we got them all.
Okay. Are there any corrections or additions from the minutes from the former meeting?
I move
I'd like
that
to make a
we
motion.
accept the motion.
Jeff seconded it.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote,
Get my
please.
picture now.
Mike Guffey,
Aye.
Jeff Hancock,
Aye.
Jerry Walden,
Aye.
Aaron Dickin,
Aye.
Mark Koger,
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Okay. Rex Beckenpaul.
Aye.
Okay.
Motion carries 7-0. At this point in time, first meeting of the season, we need to elect some officials, offices. Election of officers. Are there any nominations?
Paul for president.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. We want to do the vice president at the same time or want to do them individually?
Probably individually.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any other motions?
I'll make a motion for Jeff Hancock as vice president.
Second.
Well, got a second on a motion and a second on that. So I guess we'll go for both of them at the same time.
Who seconded that?
Rex,
I
Lynn made
did.
the motion, Rex seconded it.
Okay.
Ready for roll call vote?
Okay. Mike Guffey. You're muted, Mike.
Sorry, aye.
Jeff Hancock,
Aye.
Jerry Walden,
Aye.
Aaron Dickin,
Aye.
Mark Koger,
Aye.
Lynn Purdue,
Aye.
Rex Beckenpaul.
Aye.
Okay.
Motion carries 7-0. Any other questions or anything else we need to bring up for the beginning of the year?
Well, I think I was going to bring it up when you turned it over to me, but I'll bring it up now. We will meet Tuesday, January 19th in the courtroom at the courthouse.
Same time?
Yeah, 6:30. I talked to Commissioner Tarantino. I think at least one of the other commissioners was present. I was talking to him when he got back to me, and they have okayed that for us to meet there. They have a good, I think, a new speaker system now, and I think they're in the process of upgrading their tech. So anyway, that's where we're going to meet at least until we are able to go back to council chamber, probably more like, the end of March or maybe April, depending on just what goes on with COVID and what goes on with the vaccine and things like that.
So Rex, each meeting will be at the courthouse until further notice.
Yes.
Has anybody been in touch with the health department just in having meetings in general? Because I think our numbers are going the opposite way that we would like them to go. And I know our county just turned red, and that might mean some changes too.
Well, that means we can only have 25 people at our meeting. So, I mean, that's, 7 council members, the mayor, we've got about 11 or 12.
It's 13 more than what we've got on this. Well,
right.
Actually less than that.
I have no trouble. I mean, I know we've got on the 19th, we'll have on our agenda a public meeting for one of our COVID grants that we have to complete. But having it and limiting the number of people there, I mean, maybe we have people make reservations if they want to come, kind of like you do on Zoom. But, I think it would be good to try on the 19th. I did talk, I talked to Angela after we were talking about going back into public, into meetings in our chamber, and she agreed that our chamber was way too small, and for us to have a meeting there, even with limited people. So if anybody has an objection to us going to the courthouse on the 19th, I mean, we don't have to. We can change that. We can go ahead and do Zoom the 19th. We can throw in a special meeting at some point. We only have to have 4 council people at the special meeting to vote on it. If those 4 are going to vote for the grant to continue, but there has to be some sort of public meeting. And I think, and Joel can correct me, but I think that one has to be actually in public. What do you think, Joel?
It requires a public hearing. You can conduct public hearings virtually. I've only been in one meeting where it was done and it went okay, but certainly you can see where conducting public hearings by virtual basis can get a little bit difficult. But I think with that particular grant, a public hearing is required. So you could, stagger people that come into the meeting to allow them, if you have more than 25 and people want to address that, they could come in at different times. You could find some way maybe where people could appear remotely just so they could address you at the meeting. But that particular issue on the 19th does require a public hearing.
Okay. Well, in a little bit, I want to address the public access via other means if we go to that. So I guess we'll just stay with the 19th at the courthouse. Is that okay? Is there anybody objects to that?
Is that Monday or Tuesday? Because
that's Tuesday. Monday
was
a
is holiday, so it would be on a Tuesday.
Right, and I got Tuesday squared away.
That works for me.
And I wanted to, I know there's been a couple of people ask me why not the Armory, and the reason it's not the Armory is because Mike Burgum's done a pretty good job, and he's got people booked in the Armory pretty stacked on top of each other. And he was somewhat apologetic when I talked to him, but I said, well, Mike, don't apologize. We want people using the facility. So the county was nice enough to help us out, and I appreciate that.
Rex, I just think somehow, some way, if we're still in the red, we need to come up with a way to control the number of people in the meeting and a standby if someone does want to present something, whether it be a red card, yellow card,
well, I'll just bring that
or name tag, just some sort of process so that it's organized. And that I'd also suggest that there only be one entryway, because you can come in 2 ways into the courtroom.
Well,
just a couple of things to think
about. Those are good points. I think, I don't know, maybe we'll have people beating the door down, but normally, I don't know, it's very seldom that we have over 13 or 14 people in the audience at a meeting anyway.
Right,
so,
but I'd just be prepared. I'd rather be prepared
that's where,
than not.
And I'll just bring it up now. That's where I wanted to possibly, and it has nothing to do with tonight. I mean, tonight was kind of messy there at the beginning. It has nothing to do with that. It was something I'd already talked to Aaron and I'd talked about. But I would like to see Aaron become in charge of the Zoom meetings. He has the capability to do Zoom, plus he has the technical know-how and skill, and he feels like he can make that so even when we go to the courthouse, we can have access for people to actually view the meeting in real time, and if they want to comment or have a question, they can do that via Zoom. Aaron, maybe you can fill us in a little more on that, but I really think it would be good if Aaron got involved with that. Then if we did have to go back to remote meetings, nobody has to go really anywhere. Everybody can do it from home on an iPad or a computer. So go ahead, Aaron, if you would
I think
speak to that.
I just take for granted, I'm using Zoom every day. Not everybody does that. And we're conducting meetings and open enrollment meetings where there are several employees on at once, several that have questions, comments, whatever. I mean, it runs a lot like our meetings should with public input. And that's, this change to the courthouse, I'm fine with. I just want to make sure we're communicating the right message. We can't be trying to get people to stay home, but also we're going to have our meetings out in public when it just, we can accommodate the public on a Zoom meeting. It would just have to be handled differently. And so.
And maybe if we don't need a public hearing for something, maybe we don't allow anybody in. Maybe it's all via Zoom, but we're at that physical location to have the meeting. Maybe, I don't know.
We have Octal here running this Zoom meeting. Last week, we weren't set up for you to do a presentation because nobody told us ahead of time that you was wanting to do a presentation. It would help if you let us know if you have something on the agenda to do a presentation. It would help if you'd let us know ahead of time to do that also. Well,
Aaron thought he could bring that up. I talked to Aaron about it and he thought he
right.
could bring it up. And that's why I'd like to see Aaron do it, because really, it's the council's meeting. And it would be nice if the council had control.
That's fine. I don't care who does it. I'm just saying, to communicate a little bit.
Yeah, communication's a two-way street. So we'll work on it.
I'd like to, also to get public involvement on Zoom. We can establish a recurring meeting, which, is in line with exactly what we do. And then that way the link can be on the city website, a week ahead of time on the calendar. We can publicize that link, and then that way people can, jump on and have the capabilities of doing that. So.
Does anybody on the council object to Aaron taking this over and working on it?
That'd be great for me.
Okay, Aaron. Have fun.
Aaron, Lynn, can you hear it? The phone's going kind of crazy. Can you hear okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Your problem?
You hear a lot of static?
Not now.
Okay, all right. Anything else? Mr. President, I turn this meeting over to you then.
Okay, well, we have third reading on ordinance 3850, modifying chapter 115 of the city code. That's the towing ordinance. Everybody should have gotten a copy of the new wording. I would move that we pass that ordinance on third reading.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mike Guffey,
Aye.
Jeff Hancock,
Aye.
Jerry Walden,
Aye.
Aaron Dickin,
Aye.
Mark Koger,
Aye.
Lynn Purdue,
Aye.
Rex Peckinpah.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, Joel, when will that ordinance be effective?
It's effective upon passage. It does still need to be published, so it can be effective immediately.
Okay, and then for Kendra, when can we get that ordinance up on our website? Not necessarily to American Legal Publishing, but somewhere where somebody can view that ordinance.
I could do it tomorrow, ASAP.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. So
And
that's,
Kendra, I'll make sure you have the latest version that was passed actually, because I know several different versions of it have floated around, so.
Perfect, yeah.
Joel, if you could send that to me too, that way I can get signatures from everybody.
Will do.
Perfect, yep. It'll be on the website tomorrow.
great. Thank you to all. It's been a long path to get this done between COVID and additions and subtractions and things, but we worked and got it together. Now we'll do committee reports. Mr. Guffey.
I've got just one question. If someone could maybe help me out, I don't know. There's a building at the corner of I and 19th Street. I just noticed it. I don't know who owns that building. Does anybody know? It's one of the old deserted buildings. The roof has collapsed and now
The house?
No.
Do you know where at, what the address is?
Right on the corner of I and 19th. I do not know the address. It might have an I Avenue address.
I do not.
It's across the.
Years ago.
Go ahead.
Snedeker owned that property.
Lynn says he thinks Bobby Snedeker owned it. Was it the one his daughter used to live in?
Well, it's the old building there used to be an old cafe, right across the old Chrysler plant.
Okay then.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Bobby bought that because he bought the building behind it too.
Yeah, it was in process of being demoed before Bobby got killed.
Yeah.
That's
it's
the one you're
Snedeker.
talking about, Jeff, that's got the brick storefront? Or Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The roof has collapsed on it and it blowed a piece of the plywood off that was covering up where the window used to be. So I was just wondering.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on Beacon. It's 1523 South 19th Street, and it is owned by Bobby Snedeker.
Okay.
It's for
Just-
sale. I know that. It's for sale.
I wish it would sell.
Everybody wants a good
just-
deal.
Just wondering what could be done or whatever. But I understand where we're at.
Well, I know the restaurant's up for sale right now, and I heard
Right.
a bid in on it. I don't know if that property goes with it or not. We'll have to find out.
Okay. Also, I'd like to just give a big thank you out to Lee. I've got in touch with Lee several times in the month of December, and he's been excellent. So thank you, Lee,
They've done a good
for
job.
all your help. He's done a great job. And then Aaron brought up the last meeting about having maybe a New Year's resolution. And I from the get-go, when I was elected into council and even beforehand, and I don't know if it's really a resolution, but I would like to see the city of Newcastle to become cleaner. And the reason I say that is it's nobody's fault. It's nobody on the council's fault. It's nobody in the current administration's fault. It's not the citizens' fault of our community. But, and we've already went down the road. We're at the green trash toter, but we have so many toters that are damaged as far as lids that are damaged on these toters. And it just seems like there's a lot of trash that just gets blowed around. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not blaming anybody, but my resolution is for the 2021 is to be cleaner, because that's healthy. That makes the community healthy. Anytime that we can be clean. And I don't know what all will have to be done to see this through, and it might not make it. I don't know, but I'm going to do whatever I can do to see what we can do to move forward to make Newcastle a cleaner community. And when I say Newcastle, I mean all of Newcastle. I'm not talking about just certain parts of town, because Newcastle is not just downtown. Newcastle is not just Baker Park. It's not just Osborne Park. Any of the parks, or Newcastle is Newcastle. It's in a whole. And I feel like we can do better by making our community cleaner. I know on the trash toter that we do have trash toters, and I don't know how we're distributing those trash toters. I don't know if someone has to call to get a new trash toter, but as soon as we can get these old ones replaced, I think the better that we can be to be a clean city, to be much cleaner. But I just thought I'd throw that out tonight, and you know, maybe one of you guys can direct me in the right direction, or tell me, maybe it's something that can't be done or whatever. But I just wanted to share that with the council tonight.
Well, Lee has a plan and got it mapped out. You can call Lee at any time or go out there. He would be more than happy to fill you in on that plan.
Right. And I've kind of just, myself, I've just kind of adopted a few areas that I'm trying to keep clean, and not throwing a pat on my back, but I go out and pick up the trash. So, it's just something that I feel like needs to be done. So I'm done rambling.
Thanks, Mike. That was good stuff, though. Jeff Hancock, did you have a report?
Couple things with Aaron's homework assignment. Several years ago, I've been on the bandwagon. I'd like to see sidewalks on Road 3. I know NDOT would have to be involved. Being on Road 3 business, it's amazing how many people walk to some of the work and all that stuff. I'd like to see the city make the first step. Maybe we put a sidewalk along South Mound Cemetery. That would create quite a bit of walkway. It's almost like 2 blocks. So as far as that goes, I'd like to see the city, see if there's any grants available, and see if we can't get some sidewalks. Some of the other state roads have sidewalks in other areas and all that. So that'd be a blessing if it could. Also with the state, has nothing to do with Newcastle, but maybe get a little effect from it. This morning, the announcement of NCAA tournament being held in Indianapolis. For a lot of those business downtown's been struggling. This would be a great positive for the restaurants, for the hotels, and great deal going on, especially big little fans in attendance. Be safe, be positive, look forward to 2021. We are very blessed anyway. That's all, Your Honor.
Jerry Walden, do you have a report?
Yeah, I got a few things here. I'd like to suggest if you have a chance, go out by Castle Point, just north of Wilbur Wright Elementary, and see all the new construction going on there. I counted 8 units, 8 brand new units. So if you have a chance, just drive by there and take a look at what's going on. They were working yesterday afternoon even. So they're going up with them very quickly. Greg, I haven't made Lee aware of this yet, but at 18th Street there where it ties into Washington Street, the guardrail that was put up to protect the playground there at Wilbur Wright, someone's ran into it. I don't know if that's the school's responsibility. I don't know if they put that in after the situation there or the city did or what, but we need to look into that.
The school owns that. They've been contacted. Yep, I got
No,
that.
I don't know if it's turned into insurance or what, but it
was a hit and run. Somebody.
That's what I figured.
I'm sure they did a lot of damage to their car. It was 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. I appreciate you being on top of that.
They've been contacted about
it. Just a couple of things. And Jeff, this kind of goes off of what you were, Arts Park. Greg, do you have an update on the work that's going on at the Arts Park?
Yeah, they've started that project. It's not a pretty site, but it's pretty complicated. Unfortunately, that line goes underneath the building. It goes underneath the roof, or where they have the concerts. So we're going to have to abandon that line and close it off and take a straight line to Bowery Brook. So it's not going to be quite as simple as what we were hoping it would be.
That's what I was afraid Kind of piggyback off what Jeff was saying on the State Road 3 project. Just to let you know, Aaron and myself and Corey Murphy did have a meeting with the state. And I know, Greg, you've worked on this with Dave. But isn't there something within the new project that sidewalks will be put in place?
Yeah, they've already got plans. At first, it started at Walmart and went all the way out to almost where they finished around Pro Green North. They're replacing that road. It's some good news and some bad news. Jeff, I don't know if it's going to be good for you or not, but it's going to be good for the car wash. That right-hand lane would turn into Jiffy Lube, and to the car lot will be a turn lane, not a driving passenger lane. So there are going to be sidewalks almost all the way from Walmart to Memorial Park. And if we want a bridge across Blue River, that cost would be on us. So
Is that when they state changes the highway, when they're tearing it out?
well, they're not going to tear it out. They're going to resurface it and
Just
restripe
reverse it.
and get this and put a medium down the middle, and it will turn into a 2-lane each way, with the right lane being partial sidewalks and partial turning lane. So it's going to be real different.
What year is that slated for?
2018.
No, we already did 2018.
Yeah, I know. I told you we're on our fourth.
That's what
We're on our fourth date now.
Right.
So they tell us every year, next year.
So
Hopefully,
that's going to be a
in
6-lane
between
road.
22,
Uh,
around
Will it
22.
be a
Hopefully.
5-lane then?
I'm sorry.
no, it's not going to be a 6-lane, Jeff.
No,
Right.
4.
It'll be a 5-lane then?
4 lanes with some turn lanes, some right
Okay.
turn
On both
lanes.
sides. Okay.
Now,
I think
Ms.
you've
Ma-
got some plans in your office, don't you, Mayor, that
Yes,
Mr. Hancock could look at if he wanted to.
but we can't bank on them. They've changed
Right.
time. It did start literally at the stoplight at Walmart. Then all of a sudden they back it up to the intersection of Jamestown. Makes no sense to me. But it is in the works. For example, Citizens State Bank is not going to be happy, because if you're traveling south on State Road 3, there'll be a medium there and in the middle of the road, and you won't be able to Citizens Bank going south. You'll only be able to get into the bank if you're going north. So it's going to be some real changes.
But that's not
they're
much
not-
different than a lot of big cities.
No, that's really the way that it should be.
Progress.
But it's going to be different for us, but it'll be like other cities are now, like McGalliard, going into McGalliard at Muncie. You know, it's a divided highway there with. So
So
Mr.
they're not
Mayor,
going to have they're not going to have any of what they call Michigan left turns.
no,
State of Michigan has a Michigan left turn. It's kind of crazy, but it works.
no, you'd have to hop the curb and run through a pipe ballard to make that left.
Yeah, that's the way they do it in Michigan, but every so often they have what they call a Michigan left turn. And you can just kind of like do a U-B and you don't get in trouble for it.
Mr. Mayor, is that
Any of those.
sidewalks on both sides?
No, just
the one,
side.
just the east side. Also,
And we've got to do that to be able to get crosswalks at Trojan Lane, Parkview,
Cherry, maybe,
and maybe Cherry. Yeah, there's
Indiana.
or
Indiana.
Indiana. Maybe not Cherry, but
Indiana.
Indiana. There's either
Yeah.
3 or 4 crosswalks.
another project is North 16th Street out towards the hospital. I know that's another state project where it's going to be a total redo. And Mr. Mayor and Dave both have asked the state to extend the sidewalks on the east side from Kentucky Avenue, at least to Washington Street, which, you know, I really, really appreciate that, Mr. Mayor, because that's very much so needed. Also looking at the drainage there at Kentucky Avenue too, is what Dave told me. So
Yeah.
I think that's slated for 2022, correct?
It was slated for 19 and then 21, and they're going to do a brand new surface on 18th Street from I Avenue all the way out to Stonegate. And so now they're going to do them both at the same time. Restart
Lord,
Street,
jeez.
make the turn, and do 16th Street, which is the ambulance route to the hospital.
Right.
So they're supposed to do both those at the same time now.
And I'm not giving up on the exchange of State Road 103. I've been in contact with the governor's office once again, been in contact with our congressman. He is very open. Mr. Pence is very open, meeting with me on that. So Aaron, I'm going to take you up on your word, and I know Corey wants to be involved with it too still. And, you know, that might be something that happen when I'm done and gone. But to everyone, I just see it as a great economic development opportunity, not only for Newcastle, not only for Henry County, but the whole state of Indiana. I just think it's a prime spot. And I think it's very much worth my time looking into it and pursuing it, even though our state representative isn't so hot on it. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thanks. Mr. Dickin.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything other than I'll share my handful of resolutions. I think I've got them in order, and you guys can jump in or just chew on them or just forget about them. That's fine. The first one is one community, where I'd like to see us better work and communicate with county government and community organizations and get rid of silos. So yeah, improve communication with our county counterparts to better work together, involve state representatives, even if they're, you know, not regularly responsive. Not sure what the focus of that would be or, you know, anything like that, but within trying to make one community for progress, continue finding ways to be more inclusive through that. Number two would be continue support of downtown development and growth. And Mike, you know, when you were talking earlier, it had me thinking, because my next question is, you know, what can the council do to entice people downtown, or maybe just get out of the way so that more businesses can get downtown? I think that you, Mike, are, you know, doing everything you can do. I was talking with somebody today about being on city council, and, you know, I think we all have these goals, which I think is very important because it gives you purpose and direction, and you're not just, you know, spinning your wheels. But there's only so much that we can do as the council. And it took me a couple of years to figure that out, but you've got a microphone and you've got a platform, and I think you use it well. So continue doing that. In supporting downtown development, I'd like to see more, well, I guess there is a marketing strategy, more or less. There's a continued marketing strategy that's being developed. I know Main Street's has large involvement in that. Muncie, and this might be where you know, Main Street comes in, but Muncie has a downtown website. It's branded. It's you know, they've got missions. They've got all of their people involved. It's right there. And again, that probably ties in with one community. Is there one place where we can get all this information about our downtown, or, you know, everything like that? Number three, I had get our community greener. So I'm glad that Mr. Guffey joined in and said that he'd like to see it cleaner, because I think that ranks right up there. I know recycling has been a part of the discussion, but, and I know that we, you know, possibly might be working on this grant through IU, which we haven't heard back yet. But I'd also like to see us get at least two electric car charging spaces in the plaza or somewhere downtown.
They're already in there. They're just waiting for REMC to get them for us.
Okay,
They're already wired for it.
good deal. Well, see, we're already accomplishing goals, and it's January 4th. The last one, and I think I saved the best for last because I think this is most important. As many people have tried to do during the pandemic, I think we need to work on ourselves. And by that, I mean focus on revitalizing, rejuvenating, and maintaining current infrastructure and assets. And that includes, parks, parking lots, city-owned buildings. I'd like to see, our empty storefronts that we own, and maybe even work with owners that have downtown buildings. And let's put something up in the windows so it's not just a cracked window and total desolation inside. And then I added this as I think Jerry was talking maybe about the Final Four coming to Indianapolis. I think that's probably going to mean quite a bit of traffic to the Hall of Fame, if I were guessing. And I know something that's kind of been on our minds for at least 2 years has been development of Trojan Lane. I know that takes money, but I think that we can probably do it in a very cost-effective and conscious way to dress it up to where it's not gravel in the median, 1980s lights, and make it something really nice, because as we've all heard multiple times, there are people that come to Newcastle and that's the only road they travel on, 70 to 3 to Trojan Lane and then reverse back home. So to make an impact, and that we've got that statement piece right there at 3 and Trojan Lane. And so to tie that in and make that whole road there between State Road 3 and Ross Street, I think would really make a positive impact on people visiting the Hall of Fame, the field house, whatever. So I'd like to see us accomplish something with that this year. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Aaron. Mr. Koger.
The only thing I have tonight is Aaron's homework assignments, and that would be to try and secure the grant funding, any that's available to help with our shortfall expected through the COVID loan funds. So I hope the city and even council, if they see something, to go after those grants and that funding. And my second and last is one of my wishes, and really my only wish, is I hope I see a substantial decrease in the healthcare fund come January. And that's all I got. Happy New Year.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Purdue.
Well, real quick on that topic, do we have somebody in the city administration who's or council or whoever whose sole objective is to find grants?
Christie.
Okay.
And we hire Mike Klein-Peter.
Right. But is Klein-Peter actively looking for grants, or okay?
Isn't Mike more okra?
Totally wide open and not restricted?
No, he's looked at a couple fireman grants, and he looks at anything across the board. He's
okay.
That's he gets paid by commission off of, no matter who the grant's from.
Okay, Mr. Purdue.
Okay, I want to piggyback on Aaron there just a little bit about Trojan Lane. That's top of mind for me also. I started talking to the bank and some of the property owners along Trojan last year before COVID. And then when COVID hit, it kind of shut things down a little bit. But that is definitely top of mind for me. And I've got estimates and some things, drawings for that. And I'll talk more about that later. That's all I've got.
Okay. Let's see. I've got my resolutions for Aaron. First, I want to apologize because for not contacting somebody about the presentation I made. That's the first time I've made a presentation. I just thought I clicked on it from my end. And so now that I'm educated on that, I will try to do better at that. But I am sorry, because my first thing is about communication. I'd like to see communication improved in our city government. In the past 9 years, communication from the mayor to the city council, I think, in my opinion, has went from bad to worse. Example, when we had the fire at the garage, I and other council members got calls from citizens the next day asking about the fire. The first call I got was the first word I received that we had even had a fire. They were surprised that I would not know, since the mayor and a local contractor lit the fire before the fire department. Today I received a call asking how the city council could make such a poor decision on an issue. I had to tell the person that this was the first time I had heard that what was happening happened. The council had not been consulted. The mayor, I guess, had made the decision and never told the council. These are just two examples of quite a few. How hard would it be for you, Your Honor, to simply text the council when bigger decisions are made or important events happen? Even your assistant could do it. Or if you didn't want to do the whole council, you could contact me, the council president, and I could disseminate that information to everyone so they're informed and on the same page. It just doesn't look very good when people don't have a clue what's going on, and they should if we were informed. Number two, I would like to see us attempt to be better ancestors. And I got that better ancestors term from another person told me about that term. But we need to be cognizant of the future. At present, things in Newcastle outside the parks, the downtown, are in worse shape than they've been in years. I would like to see the council and the administration continue to seek out grant opportunities for the other parts of town that have been neglected. Three, I would like to see the mayor develop a list of licensed contractors who are eligible to work in Newcastle, and every time a job is available that they can bid on, an email be sent out to all of them. Too many people feel the system is rigged in favor of the mayor's friends. If this is not the case, then it will not hurt to develop and implement this list. Fourth, I would like to see us develop two other lists. One that will be available to the public on our website would include volunteer opportunities. This would be a list of these people would call in, like maybe Christian Love Help Center or different organizations that need volunteers. Maybe an elderly person needs somebody to help them. But anyway, there would be a list on our website of volunteer opportunities. And the other list, which could be kept by the mayor's assistant or some other person who might volunteer, and I think there could be a volunteer to take care of this, would be for people who want to volunteer. In other words, you'd have a listing of the names of people that want to make themselves available to help. This wouldn't be people who want to be on boards because, well, we do need volunteers to be on boards, but that's not really all that altruistic. The way people could see if there's something that interests them, or if an organization calls, they could be directed to people who are available. I think those two lists would help us a great deal to be improved. And I think that kind of goes along, some of that goes along with what Mr. Guffey said in terms of helping the city be cleaner and different things like that, because people would see opportunities to volunteer. There's been some times in the past that we have discouraged volunteers, I think. Okay, then that brings me just to my council report. Got a question, Your Honor. Is the city's trash being taken to Delaware County, or is it going to be taken there soon? And who made that decision?
Somebody made a presentation on the city of Newcastle doing curbside service. We're in a 90-day trial by working with somebody that does curbside service. I've talked to the owners of Big B and discussed this with them. And we're in a 90-day trial about curbside service. Now, Mr. Peckinpah, Mr. Dickin, you gave a presentation to the council. I'm not sure who you talked to from Three Rivers. I'm not sure who you talked to at Big B Rubbish. Not sure who you talked to from up at Muncie at the company that does the recycling. All that information should have been brought up in the presentation. There was a presentation made.
Well,
that had
really,
no
Your Honor, what it
facts.
should be is you
There's a
should provide some
presentation made
leadership
that
and
had
go
no,
get that information
that
and
had no
present to us.
prices in it. And there was a presentation made that had no facts to it or no history, no pricing, no merit to it in any way, shape, or form.
Well, I'm sorry, Your Honor, but at least
Is
I made
putting
a
it-
presentation. You couldn't even bring yourself to make a presentation of any of this information. You made a decision to go with Muncie for 90 days and never even talked to anybody on the council about it. And you're supposed to be the leader. I mean,
I
where's
am
your
the
leadership?
leader.
No,
I
you're
am the
not.
leader.
You're a terrible leader.
And I'm bringing
Terrible leader.
prices to you and dating.
When are you bringing those prices to us? How much is that gonna-
We're working that out right now. Somebody
So
presentation.
we've already committed to go to Muncie with our trash, but we don't have a clue of what the prices are.
Somebody in that presentation made a public statement saying that we would try to have curb service by this coming April. Number one, financially not possible.
Okay, that's fine.
Who made that? Who made that
I
recommendation?
did, Your Honor. I made that
All right,
presentation.
I'm
because
gonna invoke point of order here for
somewhere
just
we
a
have to
second.
get off the ball.
I'm gonna invoke point of order for just a second. Number one, I totally support the presentation, but had no involvement in making it. Number two, even though this is the 5th time that we've talked about recycling, and I've said every time it's not financially viable for anybody to do recycling, how another community does it, and what's currently being done with Three Rivers as I sit on that board with you, Mr. Mayor. But it's almost like that falls on deaf ears. And number three, this gets back to the point that I made earlier. I'm finding that, you know, we are putting gas in a car and hitting the gas pedal with our hands off the steering wheel. As council, we are limited and we are bringing to the table what citizens want to hear and want to see in their community. And we are only able to reach so far because of how city government works. And I think this is what, you know, Mr. Peckinpah's goal of working better in city government means, is that this is a conversation that has spun way out of control, has gone way ahead. I was actually contacted today by somebody not even involved in this conversation about moving the contract. Mr. Harvey, in order to leave that Big B contract, does the council have to have approval?
No, I think it would have to be a Board of Works approval.
And that's what I wondered. But in order to enter into a contract, council would have to have approval because it involves a contract with finances. Is that correct?
Well, council would have to appropriate the money for what it's going to be. Council appropriates the money, but as I understand, if I'm understanding correctly, and Brenda, fill me in on this,
Okay.
the money that's used to actually pay for garbage disposal is collected through trash fees, correct?
Trash fees, yes.
Yeah.
So
Council may have to appropriate the money for it, but who is contracted would be a Board of Works decision.
And that's what I figured and just wanted to make sure. So, I mean, at this point, I feel like this is where that finance committee meeting, it's scheduled regularly, it comes into play, because these are conversations that can filter from the top through the finance committee to the rest of the council, because it is very frustrating to hear from citizens who come to us who were elected with information that I don't have. People think I'm joking when I say I'm the last person to know anything, and I totally mean that. So I think we can sit here and go back and forth all day. We know the citizens want recycling. We know it's going to take the administration to do it and the council to appropriate the money. How do we get it done?
There are two of you
Aaron, you're correct.
Well,
that
we are,
talk to me on a very regular basis. And I have not seen in a contract anywhere where it says that I'm to be a babysitter for the city council. If you have questions, call me.
all you have to do,
my
all you
door is
have to
open all
do
the
is
time.
simply send out an email with an update on anything that's going on that you think is pertinent. That's all you have to do.
All you
That's
have to do is call me. If
No,
there's
it
any
shouldn't be. We
any
call, hey,
questions, you can call me
Your
also.
Honor, every week he wants to call you, hey, Your Honor, you got anything on the agenda? Hey,
Couple
Your
of
Honor,
you do.
is a building burning tonight? You know, I mean, what are we supposed to do, Greg? You're the leader. You ought to be, all that ought to be
I'm the
coming
leader.
from
I've
you.
got a lot to
No,
do.
you're not. You're
I've got a
terrible
lot
at
to
it.
do.
You're a
During that
terrible leader.
fire, during that
Okay, I got
fire,
some, I got some, well, you were
don't
there
see
before the fire department. My gosh, how'd you
any,
do that?
I don't see anywhere where
Anyway,
I'm
I
supposed
got
to
some
drop
questions
everything
for you. I got
and
some
call the
questions.
council.
I got some questions. Okay, and
I took you
I
to
got,
Carter Lumber and you're the president.
yeah, after, after I
Some of the
imagined the deal
council
was
came
pretty
to
much
look at it,
done.
some of them didn't. I presume that you passed.
Occasionally you
to them.
put us in the loop, Your Honor. Occasionally you do put us in the loop when it suits your purposes.
I was
Jeff,
left
you
out.
trying to say something?
Yeah, I was left out on Carter Lumber.
Well, I took Mr. Peckinpah to Carter Lumber, and I presumed it was up to him to tell the rest of the council.
Oh, well, several of the rest of the council went to Carter Lumber because you called us, Your Honor. I mean, you can
There's
keep
two
making
of you that call
excuses.
me
You are,
very regularly.
you're one of the biggest deflectors I've ever seen.
Okay.
Try to deflect onto somebody else and put off. It's like you don't call people back. I mean, and you want to just deflect and feel if you put it out there long enough, they'll forget about it.
I
That's
do
your
call
MO.
people back.
Now, here's the questions I have. I'll text them to you. So maybe next meeting you can answer these questions for us. Did you not feel that you might use the council as a sounding board before this decision on trash was made? How much more fuel will we use per year? What is the cost to us versus our current situation? Will this increase wear and tear on our trucks? Have you even taken a moment to consider where this goes in the future with our trash, where our trash fee is concerned? Will doing this take man hours out of our day and slow down our processes? Does this place people who live in Newcastle, Henry County's job in jeopardy? And do you even care about that? Since we don't have a say in it, what's your plan? Do you even have one? Okay, and one last question. Do you pay a trash fee at a residence in Newcastle?
I'll answer every one of those questions.
You can answer the one tonight. Do you pay a trash fee?
It's never been, yes, I do.
Okay, thank you.
It's never been.
Is that on Lincoln?
Suggestion to do curbside trash pickup. That's up to you. I can tell you this. There is a numerous amount of numbers being compiled right now and already.
Good.
To tell you guys about financially how it would work out. And it is not financially feasible to nobody's going to make money or save money on recycling.
Well, that's fine. I just wanted to get us off the mark because like Aaron said, it's been brought up many times and nothing ever happens. No plan is ever put forth. No one ever really comes out and says, we just can't do it. We've looked into it. And I think that's part of your job. Maybe
we're
time to
we're
ever
doing
be in
that.
your office.
We're trying it. We're trying it.
Mr. Lovell's been sitting here listening to all of us for a long time, for almost an hour. Do you have anything to say, Mr. Lovell?
I know most of you. I love you all. I'm here because of the situation that happened with the trash being moved and recycling. Not only just, I work at Big B, for those of you who don't know or don't know me. I've been there for 6 years. I'm a sales representative. But I'm also here as a taxpayer who feels like just kind of got blindsided by whoever made the decision to all of a sudden after 50 years take all the trash from the town away from the local trash company and take it to a different town and use a company, Best Way. And for those of you who do not know, Best Way is based out of Michigan. So now my tax dollars, not only do they not stay locally anymore, now they don't even stay in the state. And now we're paying driver, I know the answer to some of those questions, Mr. Peckinpah, which is yes. Instead of coming out on Spiceland Pike to dump trash, now you're going to Muncie on Centennial, which is a haul one way for a trash truck. And now you've got multiple trash trucks going. You are paying drivers more. You are spending more fuel. You are putting more wear and tear on the trucks versus what you are to come, out on Spiceland Pike. So I just, Big B is the local business. And someone mentioned earlier in the hour that I've been sitting here listening that, you know, we wanted to be more about community and more openness. And I always feel like that it is always best to do business local when you can, no matter what it is, even if you've got to pay a couple more dollars. But from what I understand, the city just took the business away from the local company here that employs local Newcastle, upwards of 45 local Newcastle people, and took that business to Muncie, and is in fact paying more to take it there. Not only are you spending more in operating costs, but now you're paying more to take it than what the landfill was charging to bring it all to us. And the thing about it is, I understand everybody wants to do recycling, but what a lot of people don't understand is I know I'm not saying I'm against recycling. I think it's a great thing, but a lot of people don't understand the cost that goes into recycling. It is very expensive. Somebody has to pay for it. And I was upset that not only the only thing that got brought up to me or anyone at Big Beef, as far as, and I know Mr. York, you said you had talked to the owners of Big B. I've actually I started a whirlwind today throughout the city, I believe, with a couple emails and comments that I had made. I got contacted by a city employee, and then I turned around and got contacted by Mr. Walker himself, who called me personally on my cell phone, who I've never spoken to a day in my life, asking this, that, and the other, and trying to justify why the town turned around and took business away from a local business that, like I said, that employs local people. But at the end of the day, I don't see where it doesn't justify. But Big B, Brenda, who obviously can hear me too, I've known for a very long time, called me, and I don't remember if it was in the beginning of December or in November, some point, but called me, and we reached out and we had the discussion of, you know, that you told me that Greg was wanting to try to reduce the amount of tonnage going into the landfill. And you and I discussed a couple things about recycling, correct? You know, it was just some ideas that you were being tossed around. And at the end of the day, it basically went nowhere because I didn't know what the city, Mr. York, the city council, anybody was wanting to do. But I did say that I would love the opportunity to sit down with Mr. York, you, Brenda, whoever I needed to sit down with to come up with a program that worked for everyone. Because
Greg is also talking to Randy. Greg's been talking to Randy, who owns the company.
Okay. From what I understand, I'm not saying that's true or isn't, but I don't, from what I understand, I don't know necessarily that recycling has been brought up between the two of them. Like I said, I've not been in the room, I've not been on the phone, but I'm just saying, when you and I discussed it, that I said that I would love to sit down and discuss and come up with a plan for come up with a recycling plan that we could do if that's what the city wanted. I mean, Newcastle's been bringing the trash out to Big B for 50 years. If the town wants to implement a recycling program, then that's something that we can sit down and come up with. The decision, I was upset, not only as an employee, but as a taxpayer, that the decision was made to do a trial with another company. Like I said, that is not even based in Henry County, but not even based in the state, without even sitting down with us to try to come up with our own recycling program. So that is why I'm here. Like I said, I thought I made it pretty clear that I would sit down with whoever I needed to sit down with to come up with something that worked for the town. I've spoken with the owners of Big B. They appreciate Newcastle. They appreciate the Newcastle bringing them the trash for the last 50 years, appreciate everything. And we're here for the town.
Are the owners of Big B telling you that they want to recycle for us now?
I don't think they ever said they didn't. And you and I, like I said, you and I discussed that. I told you I would sit down and meet with whoever.
Did you meet with the mayor, Jeremy?
Do what?
Did you meet with the mayor?
No, I have not.
So does Big B have a recycling system now? Do they have a recycling program that they use?
Yes, we do.
Okay, all right.
What do you recycle?
I would say,
Everything?
I'd say you need to get that program to me then. Mr. Purdue's trying to get through to you, so he's on the phone. Listen, I don't know if you can hear him very well. Go ahead, Lynn.
This is Lynn Purdue. And I've been involved talking to Mr. Walker about our expenses, taking trash out to Big B and the cost it would take to go to Muncie. But the thing here is our citizens want curbside. They want that trash.
Got you back on speaker.
And it was my understanding that Big B had no intentions of ever offering that. So with that being said, for us to be able to move forward with that in the future, possibly, we have to seek out someone that offers that program and build a relationship with that company. So I think that kind of played into this temporary contract we've got going with Muncie. But the person just to reach out to, it's not rocket science to find the guy. I mean, our street, commissioner, Mr. Walker. So there's talk about these things. And I think the move to go to Muncie to work with someone that has a recycling program was a smart move, and I'll stand by that.
And Lee is actually called in, and that's something we'll work on as far as getting department heads in if they want to join. Lee, you're on speaker. Everybody should be able to hear you. Go ahead.
Let me answer a couple things to start with. This was not a decision that was taken lightly. I have personally done a lot of background checks, homework, if you will, with this. And so, yes, there is a little bit of an increase of going to Muncie, but that increase will be offset by the amount of money we save. In 2020 alone, we spent nearly $11,000 in fixing flat tires that came off the landfill. We spent over $1,000 in tow bills having our trucks towed off the landfill. We spent $3,700 in truck damage that was done to our trucks, and the latest one was just in December on one of the brand new one-arm trucks. It was $3,000 damage. So up at Muncie, we went up there today as a group. It took us an hour and 10 minutes round trip. That's leaving the shop. We went to the site. All 5 trucks dumped, and we were back in Newcastle in an hour and 10 minutes. It takes us almost 40 minutes to leave Newcastle, go to Buster's, drive all the way back where they're dumping, take a chance on tearing up our trucks in the mud. I showed Greg and Dave Barker today all the mud that was caked up underneath the truck from going out to Buster's. Last month, not December, but in October or November there, truck 4 of our truck had a flat tire. What caused the flat tire was a syringe that was in between the thread and it still had the hypodermic needle stuck into that. So if that needle punctured a tire, what do you think one of the guys that had to get out on the landfill if they were step on that needle? So there's a safety factor. Yes, East Central Indiana recycling up there does have already a program in, but we're backing in on concrete. It's clean concrete. We back out, we pull in, we're gone. At Buster's, we're constantly running over nails. We're running over hypodermic needles. We're doing a lot of damage to our trucks going to the Buster's. Yes, I prefer to do business locally. But before this decision was decided to do, I called Buster's personally. I asked them if they had any type of recycling program. The only thing that they recycled at the time was they did do some cardboard. But even then, they charged a fee to recycle the cardboard, and then they take it up to Indianapolis to raise trash service at Indianapolis. So they're really not recycling versus what East Central Indiana Recycling is doing there on Centennial. Buster's charges a little less per ton. But guys, I'm telling you, when you're spending $11,000-$12,000 in flat tires, $3,700 in truck damage, the offset in price will pay for itself by not having these issues. And I told Mr. Lovell today when I talked to him, if Buster's came up with the same similar program and build a building where we could back in on concrete and do that, we would have no problem going back down to Buster's and talking to them. The city council, if they're serious about recycling curbside and making it convenient, this is the first step in doing this. It's a trial thing to see how well it works out. I assure you, each and every one of my drivers today was tickled to death to go up and dump on concrete and not have their trucks stuck, not backing over stuff, tearing up the trucks, versus constantly going down to Buster's. And I have a history with Buster's. My dad retired from there after 20 years service after he retired from Marigold Dairy. So it's not like this was a decision made lightly. This was simply a situation where we want to try to recycle, then you have to take a step. And that step is we went to the closest local place that we could to do what the city council seemed like they wanted to do, and that was trying to recycle. The company of Muncie is offering you guys a tour of the facility any afternoon or Saturday morning that you want to go up there and take a look at it. We can take a city bus and do so. Then we'd also gone down to Buster's, and I'll show you what the guys are backing over with at Buster's and why this decision was made. It was partially made due to the recycling, trying to help recycle. It was also due to damage that was being done to the trucks. And when I called Buster's on both times that the trucks were damaged, their attitude was, sorry about your luck. Yeah, that's part of doing business when you drive on a landfill. Guys, we can't do $3,000 worth of damage to a brand new truck because it ran over something on the landfill where they're backing us over trash, when we can drive 30 minutes up the road, back in on clean concrete, dump, and drive out and not have that problem. So if you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer any of them. I've got the numbers that we got. I'm saying, oh, you're looking at them. So anything you want to ask me, I'll be happy to answer.
Right now, I don't have enough information to even have an opinion on the matter, if we're being honest. What I do want to know is, what is the threshold, and it's probably a question for Brenda or Joel, what is the threshold for taking bids?
Aaron, it's a service, so there's no requirement for it. Services can be hired in any way the contracting body determines. Bids are generally required when you're purchasing a fungible good, such as a car, a truck, or when you're contracting for a public works project.
And so bids aren't even required in service contracts, like you just said.
Contracting for service, no, bids are not required.
Okay.
You guys wanted to look into curbside service. We're working with a company that can offer that. I'm just trying to get some track record to be able to give you guys some facts, some figures on this situation. It's a 90-day trial. And, I didn't bring it up. All I brought up was we're going to try to get rid of some cardboard. And we're working with Three Rivers or Solid Waste Management here locally to try to get rid of some cardboard and paper to get rid of some tonnage. Then all of a sudden it comes out, we want to do curbside service. I didn't start this. I didn't suggest to do this. You guys did.
I'll take responsibility.
Get rid of some cardboard.
I'll take responsibility for that. I absolutely did bring up curbside recycling service. I really appreciate you trying to connect those dots and bring it to the table. I think where some people have gotten irritated, and I'm probably in that group by this point, is that it just breakdown in communication is all it is.
Aaron, let me explain something about about this new curbside service that East Central has. It doesn't take any more manpower, and it doesn't take any more equipment than what we're currently running.
Right.
They give you a special colorized bag for the city of Newcastle. If we go that route, the people come up, they ask for the bag. The bag doesn't cost us anything. It's provided by the recycling, and it goes in the same toter that we're currently using. We dump it, in the same one arms and the same rear loader. It goes to Muncie. It's up to them. Once it goes there, they sort it out. And it doesn't actually change anything that we're currently doing if we decide to go this route. So this is why we're building a relationship now to see if it does work over the next 90 days, to present something more solid that, hey, this is the price. And I will tell you, if we decide to go full-blown recycling curbside, the city of Newcastle will have to raise its rates, because there is a cost to get rid of recycling. And you're looking at probably a minimum of $3 more a month per customer to balance it out. You can't just charge the ones that are recycling, because the overall trash rate goes up to recycle, because there's more work for them to process it. So if you look at a possible $3 increase, you're looking at $15 a month versus $12, which is still $5 to $8 less than the private trash haulers are charging to pick it up. And I will say, I do know for a fact, Buster's goes out, Big B Rubbish goes outside the county in several different communities and picks up trash. So they're doing that to make money, and I understand that. And all we're trying to do is do what's best for the city of Newcastle, which if recycling is what you want to do, this is just the first step in doing that. And like I said, it won't cost us any more manpower. It won't cost us any more equipment, because the way their system is set up, it all goes in the same truck. We take the truck up here, instead of dumping on the the north side, we dump on the south side of the building. It's still on concrete. It goes in a conveyor belt, and out the door we go. We dumped all 5 of our trash trucks today in less than 15 minutes, and we were back on the road to Newcastle. So at Buster's, they're dumping 1, maybe 2 trucks at a time. And I've had guys sit back here for 45 minutes waiting to dump. So there's more to this than what you guys really are understanding. And I'd be willing to go with any of you out to Buster's, take you up to Muncie. They've offered to bring you guys all up to Muncie if you want to go. And we could take a bus either on a Saturday morning or in the mid-afternoon, go up there and see the facility. I think you'll be rather impressed with it, and go from there. But like I said, there's a lot of decisions that went into this 90-day trial basis. A lot of numbers, a lot of decision making that went into this before we done it.
Is there anybody interested in going on a tour at either or both places? Anybody interested in doing it?
Yeah, I'm going to go up.
Yeah.
Up to Muncie.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll drive my car up there. I don't want to ride in something with a whole bunch of people. I don't think that's to get in an enclosed area.
Yeah, I'd like to go. I can drive too. I just want to say something here. It's and I don't want to continue to go back about being new, but I'm a new set of eyes. I'm a new set of ears. I'm a new set of mouth. Communication in the city of Newcastle, as far as administrating to the council, it is horrible. And it's been like that for quite a while. And I'm not beating this horse any more than what's already been beaten, but communication is the key for the city to move forward in anything, period. We have to communicate. If it's something that I come up with, or our council president Rex, or any of the guys, Jerry, Mark, Aaron, Jeff, Lynn, it's not to be for us to pat ourselves on the back. It's for the city of Newcastle. That's where we got to really look, is for the city of Newcastle. And I feel like the council's been left out totally in the dark on this thing, period. You know, how would you answer someone if they called you and asked about it? I wouldn't know how. I'll just have to tell them they're going to have to call the mayor, is the way I see it. But I know there's a lot of pros and cons on this recycling, but I feel like it's something that we'll have to do. And as far as Buster's or the landfill, I understand they want us to dump all of our trash out there, cardboard and all, because the more tonnage, more money, right? that's obvious. If anybody was in that business, that's what they'd want you to do. But I just feel like the communication is way, way out of whack. Way out of whack. But I would be willing. I want to go and see the place in Muncie.
I think
appointment. How can I give you information if we don't have a track record or don't have information? We're gathering information.
Well, I think
give you information on numbers that'll be accurate numbers, and you guys can take a trip. We'll pick a date. Would you try to do it through the week or on a Saturday morning?
Me Saturday morning.
I'll do whatever Mike wants to do.
Anybody else?
I'm good with it.
Lynn?
Yeah, that's fine. Anytime's fine with me.
Okay. So look,
Saturdays would be better for me, but Greg, I've been sitting here listening to this, and my big thing is I had no idea this was going on, and just simply saying, "Hey guys, we're looking at this." Well, I feel bad for Jeremy. Jeremy, I've known you for how long, dude? Long
time, Coach Walden, long time.
And I had a middle brother hit me up backside of the head every chance he had. And I just felt like I've been hit up backside of the head with this because I had no idea this was going on.
Jerry, I don't want to interrupt, but let me say something real quick. I apologize for the interruptions, but I clearly sent out an email 2 weeks ago to every councilman about this very subject. And I guess I'm not understanding why everybody thinks they were blindsided. You got from that email, you knew this was in the works.
No, not that
nothing else was communicated.
Not that it was in the works. It was something that was being considered, not that it was in the works.
Exactly right, Rex.
And what Lee has said tonight is some very pertinent information. I appreciate that, Lee.
Yeah.
Now, that information probably could have been sent out in a bullet pointed email to the council a week or so ago. Just that we're considering this and here's why. And that would have alleviated pretty much all the problems, but it comes back to the communication leadership thing because Lee's not the leader. I mean, Lee does a good job, but he's not the leader of Newcastle. And but anyway, I do have a question. What is our status on our contract with Big B right now?
Now it's a month-to-month, day-by-day thing. And
I mean, do we pay them every month? What's our? In other words, we don't really have a contract. If we take a truck down there and dump it, they charge us. Is that what it is?
Yes, sir. They charge us the same way that Muncie does.
Okay, so we really don't have a contract with them. It's just I'm not suggesting that we're going to or we could, but if there's some place over in Greenfield, one day we could drive our trucks to Muncie, next we could drive them to Greenfield or wherever we wanted to. I mean, I'm not saying that's what's good, but that's what we could do because there is no contract.
Yeah, we don't have a contract with Buster's. We have an agreement. They charge X number of dollars a ton, the same as what Muncie does.
Okay.
Now, we agreed because they had to put on some extra work at Muncie to do at least a 90-day trial. Okay, with the price locked in at what they quoted us for a year, but it's a 90-day trial.
Okay, that's good information. Mr. Lovell, you got any more to say on this before we close it up?
I appreciate, first and foremost, I appreciate y'all having me and listening and letting me speak. Walker and I talked earlier today on the phone. The way him and I talked on the phone, it doesn't sound exactly the same way as he's talking tonight on here. I know he was concerned about the $11,000 for the tires and the $3,000, as well as he should be, all the stuff. But like I told him, I said, a syringe popping puncturing a trash truck tire. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not trying to. I think it's far fetched, in my honestly, but that's neither here nor there. My whole point of being a Big B employee and being a citizen and a taxpayer of this town is I wish my town would have came to the local company, as Brenda and I spoke before the decision was made to take the business away from a local company, a local business owner that employs 45 local Newcastle people, to sit down and say, oh, even if, which I've talked to everyone that you've all said you've talked to, and they've all said that nobody's came out and told anybody that we wouldn't come up or do any kind of recycling, that we weren't interested in it at all. I told Brenda that I would love to sit down with Mr. York and whoever I needed to sit down with, to come up with something that would work for us all. And then the decision was made to go ahead and do a trial run with another company, like I said. And I know Mr. Perdue said, you know, he stands by it, supports it, and that's great. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But I'm sure he wouldn't like it if a heating and air company came in from not only wasn't local, but out of state and was getting city contracts and so forth. So to say that you support giving the town's business to another company that's not even in the same state, I don't see how anybody can support that, especially when you've got a representative for the company sitting there saying that they'd be willing to sit down and come up with whatever we need to do to make it work. But that's all. That's the only reason why I was here this evening. Mr. Peckinpah, Coach Peckinpah asked me to be here too. I don't agree with it personally. Like I said, not only as an employee of Big B, but as a taxpayer and a business owner myself in this community. I don't agree with that without even giving us a shot after I offered to sit down. But Mr. Walker himself told me that he didn't know about that, about my offer to sit down and come up with some kind of a recycling program that worked, or we would have already sat down and discussed it. But I just like
Jeremy,
and I told Mr. Walker as well too that with all the damages and stuff he said that has happened to the truck for the landfill and all that stuff, I said I feel like for the city to be bringing their trash out to Big B for the last 50 years. I mean, did all this damage just start happening in the last couple of years? Because I've been there for 6 and I've not heard that much damage on any truck in the last 6 years as what has they're saying happened all last year. But even if so, why wouldn't a city work with its local company to sit down and say, here's what's been happening. Here, let's work, let's find a solution to it, versus just saying, man, we spent $11,000 on tires, $3,000 here, $700 here. We're going somewhere else. I just don't.
So Jeremy, do you have a plan that you could share
for the recycle? No, not at this time. I just found out today that.
Right. Well, I didn't know because you said that you'd offered to sit down and talk. Just wondered.
Because when Brenda and I spoke, and like I said, it was for a brief. Brenda, you and I didn't speak real long. You know, we just
like 2
threw
or
some
5
ideas
minutes.
out.
Maybe.
We threw some ideas out, but I said I would be willing to sit down and let's figure out what was. I didn't even know what was wanted at the time.
Right. Okay. I was just wondering because I was just getting it that it sounded like that you might already have a plan, but I understand. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mark, did you have anything you wanted to weigh in on? I know you're muted and I've seen you trying to jump in.
All I'm going to say is what Joel said. Once we approve a budget, you all have to remember the mayor can spend it and do whatever he wants with it. I understand Joel made it very specific that, you know, if it involves more money, then it comes in front of us. But, you know, we're beating a dead horse when we talk about this. And we've done it. I've done this for 12 years. And until that time, until we all realize that this is the situation we're going to be in at all times. So just keep that in mind as you're going about thinking about making a trip to Muncie. What's a trip to Muncie going to do? It's not going to do anything. Take Lee's word for it. That's the bottom line.
Okay, that's a good idea.
You're
it's
all
just,
right.
It's just what it is. I mean, it's not Greg. It's every single mayor, and they have that right. We're a Class 3 city, and that's how it is. Those 3 people on the Board of Works make the decisions for this city. We make the financial decisions, and that's it. Period.
Mark, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think it'd just be nice if the council was apprised of what was going on so we could respond to citizens.
And you're absolutely right, Rex. But we can call out a mayor. We can not just Greg. We can call out any mayor at any time. But all that is calling them out. That doesn't mean they're going to change. It doesn't mean they're going to do anything different. Until we come up with a solution as a council to do something the right way and in the right process, all we're doing is we've sat and talked for 50 minutes about nothing.
Here.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, well, we'll end this discussion then, and we'll turn it back up.
Not to interrupt, but
Okay.
I have Lynn on my phone. He just called me because he accidentally hung up on the mayor. So I have Lynn on my phone now.
Okay, we'll end this discussion and we'll turn it back to the mayor. I think maybe Carrie's here to give us a lecture.
Carrie, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I don't have anything.
No.
I know you guys won't be able to tell by looking at me, but I've been married for a long time. And
You look pretty good for having been married for a long time.
I was a child bride. And Matt and I once had a fight about a peanut butter sandwich. And you know what? The fight wasn't about the peanut butter sandwich. So I just think it would be beneficial for you guys if you figured out what this is really about. That's my 4 cents. So I have nothing to report for Main Street other than I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Move we adjourn.
As everybody, well, I'll take a second to talk.
Okay.
As everybody understands, Thursday we went from yellow to red. Thankfully, they didn't close down beauty shops, didn't close down restaurants. But I think that means that we're to be a little bit more aware of our numbers are worse in this community. The hospital's full. It's been within our building. It's been within all of our police, fire, EMS. So we've asked the employees to, if they're in the vehicle with someone else, to be wearing a mask. We're asking everybody to continue to wash their hands more often. So if you hear some grumbling about that, we're not closing anything down, but I can tell you this, we don't have any department that we could lose 50% of that department and continue to go on. So we're from within a city, employees, we're trying to be even more careful. So it's probably going to be the topic of some conversations that we've tried to be proactive instead of just continuing along as we have been. So we made that announcement to all the department heads today. We have had the opportunity through Josh, our EMS, that if a week ago, our theory was if you don't have any symptoms, come to work. We have a department that one of the guys, 3 members of his family tested positive. He hasn't had a test. 3 people from within his department have tested positive. So Josh can give him a quick test. And if that test is positive, then our suggestion is go get the 3-day test. So, we're all tired of beating that dead horse about COVID to death, but we are recommending if anybody is surrounded with it, that is a city employee, we have the opportunity not to give everybody's wives and kids a test, but if they're a city employee, we have the opportunity for them to call Josh and go to EMS and get the quick test. So instead of just coming back to work symptom free, we are asking them to go get the quick test first.
Have we had anybody use our facility to quarantine yet?
We're using it, and no, not for overnight quarantine. We had it set up to it, but the people that have been in quarantine said, I'd rather be at home. So we're not making them, but we do we do have the opportunity to quarantine people there if anybody requests that. Yes.
Okay.
That's all I have. Motion for
Okay.
adjournment.
Move we adjourn.
So moved.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you all again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.